Uriel. At the time of recording this, he's about a month old-ish, and he's also the newest Warframe with the new update, the old piece. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into him real quick because I feel like this is a pretty decent Warframe. I won't say decent, I guess. He is really good. I do like playing him. He is very fun, and I do think that he is going to be a decent pick, at least when it comes to meta options. He does have one of the most bloated kits in the game, but bloated in a good way, so let's just go over it really quick. His passive is going to allow him to have three little demon buddies that fly around him pretty much all times through the mission. One is going to snare and slow down enemies. One is going to latch onto enemies, dealing damage over time, and if they die, once he latches onto them, it'll spawn this little circle of fire around them, which will do damage to any enemy that walks through it. The last one will put these runes up on enemies, and when you kill them, you'll get fire rate and heat damage, which scales with power strength. These three are really good and are quite literally just some Warframe's whole abilities and kits. Like for example, the last one that drops the runes, it's literally just better Fireball Frenzy. Granted, the heat damage multiplier isn't as high as Fireball Frenzy, but the fact that you have infinite uptime on extra heat damage and fire rate is kind of crazy. His first ability being Infernals. I'm sorry if I butcher these names, which I most likely will. Anywho, what this does is it'll give him a literal aura that will just be fire. And if you press your dodge button while you're in the air, he will do this cool little flying animation. Besides that, this will spawn in the first demon, as you can see here, the one that will snare and slow down targets. You pretty much want to just have this ability up whenever you can, and it is recastable, so whenever you see the duration is getting low, just recast it. His second ability, which is I'm sorry, I don't really want to butcher these names, so I'm not gonna say them. Long story short, you cast it, you become invulnerable, and it will fully heal you and your three demon buddies. Also, your demon, as you can see right there, however you pronounce that, when it kills an enemy, it will have a certain percentage chance to drop health and energy orbs, which scales with power strength. In my opinion, even though his third ability is way better, I think this is crazy, simply just having a button that you can press, go invulnerable, and fully heal yourself and your companions. This does not heal your actual companions like Sentinels, Kubros, Hounds, Kavats, anything like that. Only the three demons, but still, it is very strong, especially due to the fact that it can give you overshield. His third ability, which is probably his best ability, will basically send out the three demons and they will home in and attack enemies. They will do a small explosion, and anyone that is hit by the explosion or the demons will have damage vulnerability for X amount of seconds, which scales with duration. This ability is really good, simply due to the fact that you are literally just throwing out damage vulnerability. If you play Uriel, this is basically just sea snares, but the demonic version of it, I guess. And also, this is the ability where you unlock the demon that will drop the runes. As you can see, the fire rate and extra damage is affected by power strength, and the buff duration is affected by duration, obviously. Last but not least, Brimstone.
領域展開福間水し
This does not have a cooldown, it more so has a resource. You get this by attacking enemies that have been hit by your demons, casting your three, picking up runes, so literally just playing the character will get you his four. What this does is, depending on your range, it will literally just cover the whole area in fire. It will go up and down terrain to better fit, which is actually a really good quality of life. But Enemies within it will take damage per second, and it will scale with each consecutive hit. A lot of people have problems with his fourth ability. I personally don't. Mainly probably due to the fact that I play mainly solo and in 2 to 3 man squads. But I do think that this ability is really good. I don't know. I could be wrong, and if you have some new reasoning to why this isn't that good, let me know in the comments. But this is a really good ability. You can use weapons that aren't really that good for killing acolytes and just save this to kill an acolyte. Or if you're gonna run a more casting heavy build with his 3, then you can literally just spam this whenever an acolyte comes around and you'll most likely kill him. It's nothing crazy like full on one-shotting them 100 to 0, but it's still really good. I will say though, one of my main problems with this ability is that if you have him built a certain way, this will kill too good. Since you place it down, basically like a deployable area, enemies that are around you when you cast it are gonna instantly die. Meaning that once more enemies start spawning, it'll take them time to get to you. This means that if you have a decent amount of duration, as you can see mine only lasts for 12 seconds, by the time enemies finally make their way to you after they spawn, it'll most likely just be at a last few seconds. This is kind of bad, and you do have to mod specifically for it to last a little longer. Granted, I do have around 130 power duration on this build, so that could be why it doesn't last that long. But unless you specifically are modding for an ability based build, you don't really get that much out of this ability. So I guess you could say that is what most people's problem is with it. I don't know. But anywho, let me go ahead and get into the builds. There's only 2, technically 3, but yeah, let's get into it. Alright, before I show you the builds, just want to go ahead and get this out of the way. I'm using 3 Talforge Power String Shards and 2 Casting Speed Shards. Now, here is the first build. This is just my general, just plug and play build. You probably don't need as much power strength as I do, but I do have this much power strength because I feel like running Arcane Expertise on him. Pretty much besides this, everything else here is going to be standard for any sort of Uriel build. Either you're going to be modding for high power strength, or high range and high power strength, or duration range, anywho. I will say though, Equilibrium is a must on this character though, simply due to the fact that you are literally just getting a boatload of energy and health orbs pretty much throughout the entire mission. It would kind of be dumb to not use Equilibrium. Obviously, Archon Vitality here to double the heat procs, and since pretty much everything we do is going to be generating some sort of heat proc, it's kind of a no-brainer. The second build here is going to be based more on casting. We're going to be spamming our abilities, mainly R3, R1, and R2, and we're just going to be letting the heat procs from Archon Vitality and everything else just get the kills for us. If you wanted to, you could probably take out energy conversion or something here and put in more power strength or range, but there's not really much you can do for a caster build, at least that I could think of. You're going to want Arcane Concentration here, simply due to the fact that we're going to be spamming our abilities, so we're going to get that extra 60% ability duration. Also, another thing, while yes, the demons that he does summon from his passive are buffed by Summoner's Wrath, they don't really do that much damage. You can put it on, but there isn't really a significant difference in the overall damage that they do. You're more so banking on the damage vulnerability from the 3 and the heat procs to do most of the killing. You can't run around with like an Epitaph or a Panzer Volpaphyla spreading viral, but this is more so just a fun way to play him rather than a actual meta relevant way to play him. Since you are going to be spamming your 3 and your 2, you're pretty much going to have a lot of uptime on your 4, and with concentration, your 4 is going to be lasting for a long time. So you'll be able to have multiple of your 4s up at any given time if you get lucky, I guess. The last build is going to be here for people who don't really want to do the generic build with him or just want to run a subsume. We're going to be running Nourish simply due to the fact that you can't run Roar on him, which I guess is a balancing or a balancing decision, I mean. Anyway, since we are running Nourish, we do want a little bit of range, so that viral explosion whenever we get shot will go out farther. I am running Expertise simply just for the fact that I have 343% strength, and then obviously, like I said, a little bit more range with Cutting Drift. You can replace this and probably put something like Augur Reach here, but I just put it here because of the mod slot. And yeah, that is pretty much it for Uriel. The weapon's really quick. He's a generic weapon platformer Warframe. Since he is going to give you extra heat damage and fire rate, you can pretty much run anything that you want. Mainly status weapons though, obviously. And you don't have to use things like Vile Acceleration or Anemic Agility because he's going to be giving you so much fire rate. I will say though, one thing that has already been discovered is that he is another Kuvasobek bot. Basically, Kuvasobek with acid shells, and this guy will be able to spread the damage and just nuke rooms. I recommend you use this setup if you're going to do the Nourish build. It can still work on the just regular plug and play build, but I wouldn't really recommend it. So yeah, that's Uriel. If you have any unique ways to play him or unique builds, leave them below in the comments. And also what you think about the first frame, kinda, sorta, of 2026. I know he didn't come out in 2026, but he basically is the first 2026 Warframe. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and leave a like and comment if you did, and peace out.